brighter light. Inner circles here where voices thrive. Turn on your screens, let the magic unfold. Listening and healing as stories are told. Come on, come on, this is your time. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Inner Circle podcast. Today is Wednesday, December 10th. Is our business segment, and tonight we are going to keep on a very hard topic. We discussed similar thing here yesterday, but today it's from the business lens, right? So the night topic is immigrant businesses and ICE surviving the raids. A lot of businesses, ICE go to it's like we discussed briefly here yesterday, right? It's like, businesses, immigrants, communities are afraid to open, customers are not coming through. So what does this mean for these businesses? Are they going to stay in business? Are they going to survive? So tonight, that's the topic. That's our business segment topic. And I'm your host, Abe Kamara. I'm here with my co-host, Miss B. Miss B, welcome to the show.
Good evening, everyone. And you know how we like to chop it up here on Wednesdays and be about the business that pays us. But it's troubling times right now, right? It's serious. So it's about business and just some of the negative impact that policies, because these are policies, can cause on our businesses of color, BIPOC businesses, immigrant businesses, and I think to some extent businesses as a whole.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, folks, you can contribute to the conversation tonight by putting a comment in the chat. Subscribe to our Facebook. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on X or LinkedIn, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, where as we discuss as we have these important conversations. But man, so first of all, just before we get into the topic, let me just what's on my mind a little bit, and then maybe there's something on your mind, Miss B. But I mean, there's a business segment, so also I know we're trying to be serious, a little bit serious tonight, but also today, the Federal Reserve, Board of Governors reduced the interest again, had another interest rate cut by a quarter percent point. So interest rate keep coming down. That's the third rate cut so far this year. Back to back to back. Obviously, interest rate affect everything. We have that discussion here. So the Fed met today and did another interest rate cut. So hopefully our mortgages though looking to purchase new homes, car loans, and what have you. Hopefully they will come down. Who knows? So just want to throw that out there. Miss B, anything on your mind?
Of course, I'm excited about that. It still has not trickled down yet. So just letting folks know, what does that mean? When they reduce the interest rate, what we're hoping is that lending becomes cheaper. It's still ultimately
Yep.
up to the banks, right? The mortgage companies to decide whether they're going to let that influence them and how much they're going to let that influence them, right?
Hmm.
And so interest rate for us is still right now in 6 point something. And I feel like we may not go back to the 3 point something percent that some of us, got used to when it came to being in the real estate game. We were spoiled.
Hmm.
But I at least want to see at least 5 point something, before I add to my portfolio, right? And allows you to offload your portfolio too. So I know we're gonna get into other topics, but ultimately, as a seller, if you're trying to release stuff from your portfolio, it helps you to be able to sell things at a more affordable price and still make money, right? Because what happens is interest rate on a $800,000 property that you're trying to sell and make money off of and get your equity, will be influential to the market. So if somebody is more going to be more willing to buy something for $800,000 at 5% versus something at $800,000 for 7%, right?
Hmm.
Um, People shopping in that market are really looking at the income they're going to lose out of their pocket every month. I mean, for the uber rich and wealthy people, that number is not really a huge deficit or impact to them. But when you're talking middle class to maybe 1 million, 2 million net earners, that interest rate really is important as far as how much income am I applying to this purchase or this investment every month. And that's why I'm excited, because I have some stuff on the market I'm trying to offload from my portfolio. And so I'm watching to see those interest rate goes down, because no matter how affordable my product may be, it's still not going to get sold with these high interest rates. So I'm excited.
Okay, okay, that's good. I'm glad you're excited. And then second thing on my mind, I know we kind of will discuss a little bit here. I there was it's about since last week the administration sent about 100 plus ICE agents to the Twin Cities. And what is happening is like immigration lawyers are becoming overwhelmed, right, with
Hmm.
calls, with their clients, client like missing left and right. They can't get in touch with their client, and their client in Minnesota, and their client in New Orleans, and their clients in Uganda, and their clients in El Salvador, wherever, right, wherever. So it's just, I mean, it's scary. And this is just right. We are just experiencing this here right now in Minnesota, but other places have experienced it, or they are still experiencing it, right? New Orleans, Charlotte, Chicago, Los Angeles. I mean, Portland, all these places, right? I mean, I can say all over this country, right? These are the
All
things.
over the country, and since
Yeah,
February, honestly,
yeah, yeah.
since
So it's like
since January 20 something.
yeah, but as I say, more federal agents to a particular city, it becomes so overwhelming, right? Like it's like right now you cannot even get in touch for immigration lawyer. If you don't have an immigration lawyer currently, to get one,
No luck.
it,
No
it
luck.
is it is absolutely difficult, and so that is really really it's a tough pill to swallow, right? Because it becomes a double-edged sword. You
Yeah.
are I mean, you're at a place where in the gosh, maybe I need a lawyer. I mean, I need a lawyer out, but there's you can't. I mean, it's like you cannot. I mean, lawyers, immigration. Is it even like those lawyers that even have current clients? They cannot even get. They cannot locate their clients. Sometimes
Hmm.
like two, three, four of their clients are getting arrested. They're trying to figure it out. Which one is which. I mean, who is who? Where's the person is? And all those stuff. So it's just these are complicated times right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, but I want us to kind of dissect. And honestly, it's a great problem to have as far as the immigration lawyers who are a hot commodity right now. There are
Hmm.
firms who are literally not answering their phones because they are just overwhelmed. Members of the teams are having to take, mental health days because it's getting sad. Imagine people are getting those calls, and now people are unpacking what's happening with them too. So those are some of the things. Is like you're becoming a therapist along being a lawyer. But then the other aspect of it too is like, let's dissect the ICE employment. $50,000 bonus, hiring bonus, a quota of 3,000 people a day, and I don't know. Somebody said they get $2,000
Signing
additional.
bonus. What signing bonus or what?
The signing bonus is $50,000.
Oh, signing bonus 50,000.
Yes,
Okay.
so that means from the moment you start working, you are going to get $50,000. I don't know how long you need to stay employed to get that signing bonus, but then besides that, they were telling me that you get $2,000 per head, I guess, for people that you get detained.
Oh, if you ever so you get extra compensation if you get detained
Extra
somewhere.
compensation.
So it's like where you have police officers. I don't know how true it is, right? But there's rumors out. I've heard like police officers, whenever they get ticket, they get incentives for tickets. How many tickets they get?
Yes,
So
there's a
it's still,
quota for
mm,
tickets and they get incentives, bonuses. And so
okay,
it's a similar thing. And
okay.
this is dangerous because just think about the need to hire quickly. So just think about the type of people. They're not probably doing thorough background checks
It's not enough
on,
vetting. Yeah.
ICE employment agents. So just think
Mm-hmm,
about the quality of people they're hiring,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
right? And this too, somebody was talking about it today. It's like, this is a money making thing. Like, now I'm gonna go and get $50,000. First of all, now I'm gonna make $2,000 per pop. It's like, I'm influenced, to go and capture a lot of people, as many people as possible, because I'm counting each head, right?
Hmm.
This is money I can quickly make being in this field. And so all of this combined together, with the real fear that is happening on the grounds, is alarming.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, that is even more scary, right? Because if you get someone a quota and then there's an incentive behind that quota, they will go all out to to try to meet that quota. So whoever they try to attack, whoever they try to, like whoever they can get, right, is like, I'm just trying to meet my quota. Whether the person is here illegally, the person commit a crime, the person, is like, I'm just trying to meet my quota. So, and that's why you have been hearing stories, right? Even American citizens are getting detained. American citizens are getting US citizens are getting detained. It's like no one, no one seems to be safe, right? Obviously, as US citizens get detained, they are being released, right? But the scary part, right? Someone detain you, maybe like that's when you don't have a lawyer or your family doesn't get in touch with you. You could find yourself somewhere very, very much uncomfortable, right? It's like I've heard, like even there was another raid in North Minneapolis, I think 2 or 3 days ago. A Caucasian lady was detained, right? And she was taken
Yeah.
in for like I think about for 5 or 6 hours, right? I mean, she got released, and then she was recounting her story. She said, "Okay, for me, I'm a Caucasian, I'm native, but what's about my neighbors across the street, right? I saw them, getting raided, they were being raided, and I just came out to try to observe, try to ask them what was happening, and then the next minute I look, right, I'm being handcuffed and detained as well, so it's like even ordinary Americans are getting a taste of, a little bit of what is going on, which to me, as I've said it here many times, doesn't really make sense, right? What is the end goal of all of this? Is like I don't get it. I don't get it.
And just to add to that, so the payment structure is, you get a bonus is paid, it's paid out in installments. There's a waiver, so there's no age limits have been waived for new applicants. And dual compensation waiver allows eligible retired federal employees to receive both their full salary and their existing pension. And other benefits is student loan repayment and forgiveness.
Wow.
You get premium pay. There's enhanced retirement benefits. And there's this actual thing that says, America needs you, ICE. We need you to get them out. You do not need an undergraduate degree. So you don't need an undergraduate degree. And so far to date, this is as of November 6th, ICE has received over 200,000 applications.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
So
Well,
just
I guess
think about
that.
those people who are sitting in rural Minnesota, rural areas, who have not been able to find a job. This is the job that they're going after.
Okay. Well, I guess they are waging they are waging a war against the immigrant community, I guess, But here, I think, as I said, man, as I've said many times, I think and I hope this too shall pass. Hope.
We hope that it shall pass.
My man
But
Peterson
it's
said,
gonna
"Hope
be
is the
bad
word of the
before it
year."
gets. It's gonna get really bad before it gets good, because we can see it as we're our topic today about businesses and the raids. They've been happening. I mean, when we say boots on the ground, just today alone, the number of alerts that we got from this morning up until me getting on this show, that they were at Cedar Riverside. So, community and organizations been very strategic about making reports about where ICE is at, like real time, on the dying time information about where they are, as far as what streets they're occupying, what apartment complex they're in. We've been getting that information in real time. I know that they've been at African Market in Brooklyn Park,
Mm.
as best as people are giving out the information. The city of Minneapolis sent out something at 4 p.m. that ICE are at businesses in the city asking for I-9, doing I-9 audits. So this is where they come in and they're able to check to see if everybody that is in your place of employment is verified and eligible to work in the state or in the country.
Yeah, I mean, and this are very scary, right? You have imagine where you establish and in immigrant communities where you have brick and mortar stores, right? And I mean that's
Yep.
what those are the businesses immigrants mainly try to establish that. Now you're wondering, number one, let's assume you have everything right as a small business owner, as an immigrant small business owner, you have everything, or you have employees, right? Some of your employees might be afraid to come in, and then customers are not coming through the door. What is going to happen to your dream because you have spent pretty much your whole life. You have spent
Yep.
almost a ton trying to get that business off the ground. Now, like there's this whole uncertainty, there's this whole cloud, there's a whole fear, that's happening with your business. How do you wake up every morning trying to navigate, right, this current environment? I mean, and no, and the thing I've said it is like even the media, right? The traditional media is only talking about the race, the race, the race, but the impact, the local impact, the business. I mean, like as I said, I've heard many times, many Latino communities in this country, their stores are becoming empty.
They're
Customers are not
empty.
coming through.
They're empty as
You
we
know,
speak. Yep, they're
customers are
empty.
coming through.
Yes,
Imagine what's that going to do to the local economy. Imagine what's that going to do to, I mean, to your point, employment or to someone's dream, the whole
yep.
idea of the American dream, right? You establish your business to be what self-independent. You know,
In the Main
um,
Street. So we're talking about Main Street businesses. These are Main Street businesses. And we know during the pandemic, these were the same Main Street businesses that were hugely impacted, right? And
mhm,
so now you're coming off of post pandemic and probably really starting to probably get back into the black, right? If you've been able to hang in there, because we lost a lot of businesses, right? And
mhm,
even in coming into this year, businesses have been struggling. Our mom and pop shops, our Main Street businesses have really been struggling, right? The big
mhm,
boys, they get to merge, they get to do acquisitions. And so that's the way in which they're strategically staying afloat or even growing or scaling. And
mhm,
here it is, our mom and pop shops are still dealing with coming off of the pandemic. And now this. Yes, our grocery stores are closing, our restaurants are closing, employees. I mean, what we're hearing the best at this point right now, if you're lucky enough to be open and have your employees come in, well, we understand that as a private business, you don't have to allow ICE in private offices, so the business office or the kitchen. They're typically only allowed in the common areas, right? So like the eating area, if it's a restaurant, or if it's a grab and go carry out place, that front area, you legally don't have to allow them to go into the kitchen area. You don't have to allow them to go into the business office space, right? But at the
mhm.
end of the day, it's like people don't even want to take that risk. They're like, let's just close up shop. Unfortunately, landlords, people who own commercial properties, now you're going to be faced in the coming months with either no rent being paid or partial rent being paid. Then you fall into it has a trickle effect. It really does have a trickle effect, right? And these are policies that are impacting our economy. Eventually we'll start to feel it on a larger scale, and then maybe we would start to do things differently. But
Yeah, and then to your point about I know ICE coming to businesses, right, to restaurant. There was this story about a restaurant. I think it was South Minneapolis, right? ICE two ICE agent in on marked cars went there. They asked for this employee, but the manager said, I need to see your warrant, right? It's like they asked for the employee. Said, what the person you're asking for doesn't work here. We don't know that person. He said, okay, and then they asked to go. I mean, in the kitchen. And the
mm-hmm.
manager said, nope, you need a warrant to do that, right?
Yep.
And I mean, to your point is like, so they were arguing back and forth. Obviously, there was no confrontation. It was peaceful conversation, as well. But the and then finally the ICE agent said, you know what, we'll just wait outside, we'll just wait outside. And then when they went out, they just drove off, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, so it's like there's like and that story is not only unique to South Minneapolis here, right? Is happening all over the country, right? And to your point, yeah, businesses are legally allowed to
Mm-hmm.
refuse,
Yep.
ICE agents coming into their private establishment. But as we learned from the Oxbird situation, right, they can also actually sometimes, make their way through and arrest whoever they want to arrest, and
Yeah.
then it just become hey, like that right now, Oxbridge, they are trying to consult their legal representative, but the kid, whoever ICE went for at that moment, right now
He's
he's in
already
detention.
detained. It's too
He's
late.
he already in detention. So there's that aspect of it too. I mean, there's that aspect of it. you know.
And so that and so it's the education, because honestly, you don't know that you need to be educated on this thing until you're faced with that reality.
Mhm,
They're already there, they're in front of you. So that's a
mhm,
lot of the work we're trying to do as well, is make sure that we're educating the businesses. Like I said, right away, the city of Minneapolis, who is doing great to be in solidarity with the immigrant community, sent out communication far and wide, and they're doing a training with their businesses. They're going to be putting forward a meeting to really educate the businesses around these scenarios that we just talked about, and what rights that they have. Right, to what extent do they have to allow ICE into their facility, and where they can allow ICE to access, because it takes that owner, like you spoke about, to really stand their ground and say no, you don't get to enter, and you can't go looking for people unless you have a warrant that is valid. You do not have to allow them to search the premises or any of those things unless they have a warrant. And so it's really going to take business owners to stand boldly and be solid on that and hold to it, because they will be manipulative and try anything possible to capture who they want to capture. They have an incentive to do it.
yeah. I mean, if I'm getting paid $2,000 per head, okay, I'm gonna use every tactic in my toolbox, right? I mean, to try to get
Listen,
ahead, So it's like if I can get 10 heads, a day, imagine 2,000 times 10, and then on top of my $50,000 bonus, man, I mean, I could be living large. But anyways, right?
exactly.
You brought up a point that I mean, kudos to Minneapolis. He said Minneapolis is in solidarity with the immigrant community, but I think it's incumbent upon every city in this country to be in solidarity with immigrants, right? Immigrant businesses, right? Business owner, because they are the fabric, they are part of the ecosystem of every city. Every city you go to in this country. I mean, I do travel a lot locally. I mean, in America, for me, I pride myself of being an American. I travel a lot, local, because some of these things, sometimes that's what breaks my heart, right? We travel locally, you don't really see the kind of stories that's being told on national media, right? Is that immigrants are this, immigrants are that, because every community you travel to in this country, right? Immigrants are part of the fabric, I mean, immigrant businesses, driving immigrant businesses. So I think it is incumbent upon every city in this country, to
Yes.
be in solidarity with the immigrant community, right? Because you might be losing your tax base, you might be losing your employees, you might be losing your employers, and things like that. So it is important, you know.
And I think what people don't realize is, like, elected officials are appointed. I mean, they're elected for a reason, right? So there are no requirements when people are elected. There is no resume that's being submitted. There's no job description that's being created, right? It's just you feel that this person has um been in the community, you know them, they seem like an honest guy. Some people have actually done some things, and so you equate that to measure up to the fact, I'm going to vote for them to go be in this space, right, and represent me. But the reality, I say that to show that there is a huge disconnect between the federal government and the states level, and sometimes there's a disconnect between the state level and the local cities, right? And so it could be our administration is not the one that is really looking at the economic impacts from all sides when making some of these policy decisions, right? Like, we all know the economic engine of this country is the small businesses, is your mom and pop stores, right? They are the ones who are really running this country's economy. They're the ones are the largest employers are our small businesses, right? And so when you are having that disconnect between the federal and state level, you're going to miss the fact that, oh, this can really have a huge economic impact. And
Hmm.
at the root of capitalism is protect the money.
Yeah.
Protect the money, let money continue to grow, let money continue to flow. You want money to always be flowing, you want money to be flowing into your economy. You want that supply and demand, to always be happening. And when you're having policies, you want to have policies that does not have a negative impact on that flow and cash flow in that economy. But the reality is immigration is going to have a huge impact. It's already having a huge impact, and it will continue to have an even huger impact.
Yeah, I mean, and the small businesses you talk about, right? Most of the employees are immigrants, because
Yep.
these are the businesses that pay low income,
Yep.
I mean, low wages. And so
Yep.
who are those willing to take these jobs? Immigrants. Okay, you go to hotels. Every hotel I've traveled to in this country, it's hard to see a native American, you know,
Never ever.
cleaning, like cleaning your room. Right? Most of
It's
these,
always Latino community
it's
members.
always Latino. They hardest
Yep.
speaks English. I mean,
Yep.
one of the is like, so are you? And they are the hardest working folks.
Yep.
They are the hardest working.
Yes.
So it's like, as I said many times, right? It doesn't make sense to me. You are attacking your hardest working folks, folks that are willing to get their hands dirty, you know, that are
And
willing to go
do
the
the
extra
grunt.
mile,
Yeah, the grunt
you
on
know, and
sexy
these are
on
the
duty
people you are
work.
targeting. What
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, to your point earlier, now it is, I mean, small businesses are feeling the impact. It is going to have a not trickle down, but trickle out
Yep.
effect to larger businesses,
Yeah.
right? To the Amazons, to the Walmarts, to the Targets, and even every business. I mean,
These are your largest consumers. This base are your
it,
largest consumers. You
so
shouldn't be, but
I,
unfortunately, that's what we do.
so it's like, so as ICE is having these quotas going everywhere, raiding, it is going to have a huge, to me, right, economic impact. And the pain that is going on right now in immigrant community, these businesses are failing, and no one is coming to their rescue. You are spending your entire, as I said, your entire life to build your business. You build your dream. Now, because of some crazy immigration policy, right? It's like ICE are coming all over, raiding employees, raiding places, and just creating fear, right?
Yeah.
Because you go on social media, you see these raids sometimes, what I mean, it's like, man, is that, I mean, this is like a war zone, so it's
And
creating more fear.
they're so disrespectful for it. And then, you know, I just like today, no, yeah, this was yesterday. It has been a week. Ooh, it's been a week. It was yesterday, and a colleague was talking about their family member having been detained since September. Business owner, construction business, and just think who was in those type of businesses as well. Who are they employing? That's us. And so when you have the owner is detained since September, the employees are impacted. The company as a whole is impacted, right? Contracts that probably have been lost may not come back, and so you know when you're thinking about that one person you're taking, but that one person can impact the lives of hundreds of people.
Hmm.
It can
Hmm.
impact the lives of hundreds of people, right? And so this I just want people to realize that this is not just one group of people's problem. This is all of us problem as a whole. Because that
Yeah.
same restaurant that you love how the tacos taste, you love how that igusi soup tastes, or that that acheque or that fufu and soup, you're not gonna have that anymore. And if you're me and you work hard, you want to spend your money on other people making the food for you. You don't want to have to come home and cook your food, or you don't have the time. And
Hmm.
so when I see my neighboring restaurants are closing down, my neighboring groceries are closing down. Now, even though I may have a job, security is safe, but now that's going to impact where I go get my food, how far I have to drive to go get my food, my groceries, and my supplies, because my local store is not available right now in my community for me to be able to go and get those products.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
being impacted as well.
yeah, and the other aspect of that, right? Like when it comes to fear, right? Fear changes everything, and the whole thing is about fear, right? It's like you as a business owner, yeah, you're doing everything right, you have everything legit, but then your employees are afraid to come to work. And maybe they are calling in and say, what, I'm not even going to venture out, right? I'm not going to come out. So it's like the whole fear dynamic, I mean, to this whole thing. And right now, the impact is not being felt, even like when all these economic reports are being put out. They are talking about, I mean, the Wall Street Journal have said many times that is going to have a huge economic impact
Yeah.
because it doesn't make sense. It
Yeah.
is stupid, right? Is that you cannot keep attacking the lawnmower. You cannot keep attacking person working at a local grocery store, right? You cannot keep attacking, the delivery driver. These are the folks that are doing these things, right? It's like eventually it's going to come back to bite you. And then
Yeah.
now, yeah, it's all cool. These agents are getting these hefty bonuses, sign-up bonuses, and these quotas. But guess what, right? Giving ICE $100 billion to do these raids, and giving them, extra bonuses, right? And things like that. Eventually, it's going to it's going to have a huge impact, and we all, right, number one, is going to lead to price increases, because as a business owner, if I'm having hard time getting employees through the door now, like the price of me getting even new employees is higher,
Higher.
right? Is I mean, the price of doing business goes up, so it impact every one of us as a consumer. When I go to maybe to my local grocery store, African or Oriental market, I could be paying higher for things that were, that I shouldn't be paying higher prices for, all because of what? The current immigration rates going on. So it's not only going to affect the businesses, it's also going to affect us. And to your point, everyone, us as consumers, because
Yeah.
it's going to what? Raise prices eventually.
And so it upsets me when I hear, you know, the average American says like, "Oh yeah, they were taking our jobs anyway." Again, these are not jobs that you want to work. These are not jobs that you wanted.
But the
It's
jobs are
so
still out there. I
confusing.
mean, these jobs are still out there. Today, if you want to work at a hotel, man, I guarantee you, go there.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
oh yeah.
okay,
Manufacturing,
yeah, the
industrial
jobs are
jobs.
still there. I mean, right now, right, farmers are having a hard time finding labor.
Yeah,
Okay,
migrant workers. Yeah,
so if anyone, right, if a native is saying, oh yeah, they are taking our jobs, guess what? The jobs are there. The jobs are still there. So I mean, the idea that someone is taking someone else's job, it's not
it's
true. It hasn't
not.
been true.
It's
It
not
hasn't
true.
been
It's not
true.
true.
You know,
And just
uh,
some of the stories that are happening in the community again, you know, people were sharing with us today how 7 people, left for the Winnipeg border. Two of them made it across. Um, Two was captured, and there's 3 people that they don't know their whereabouts, and they're walking on foot in the cold. And so, we're just praying that, as folks are just self-deporting the best way they know how, that that they're staying safe. I heard the Burnsville students did a walkout yesterday. The students, they all did a boycott and walked out of school. So it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff happening.
man, folks, tonight we are discussing, this is our business segment, Wednesday. Every Wednesday we are here discussing business, and the business we are discussing today, the immigrant businesses and ICE, right? Surviving the race, right? ICE are going to these businesses, rating these, asking to check, as Miss B said, I-9 employee status and stuff. So they are rating these businesses, and then even if they are not rating these businesses, already, they are going to these neighborhoods, and it is causing some of these businesses to just say, you know what, I'm not opening my doors. It's too risky. Customers are not coming through. There's no business. So tonight, as a topic on the discussion, immigrant businesses and I surviving the race. That's the current state of America, right? There's a huge immigration crackdown. There's a huge immigration raid going on all across this country. And I mean, the thing about it, since the administration came to power here on the Inner Circle Packet, we have discussed this many times, because we are here to, amplify, empower, and elevate in our immigrant voices, right, to bring these issues to full. But I've always said, right, this is what the administration campaign on. And to your point, sometimes you overlook, many people, right? Like, there was a mayoral election in Miami yesterday. I mean, congratulations to you guys. Your candidate won. But the thing, for over 30 years, a Democrat had not been elected in that city. But one of the things she campaigned on was, our neighbors have been taken away,
Mm-hmm.
right? Our neighbors have been whisked away. Our neighbors have been taken away, and they told us, you know, that they were only coming for the hardcore criminals. Now, left and right, they are coming for everyone. And they are disrupting businesses. And a city like Miami, okay, Miami is heavily
Cuba's right
populated by
there. We already
immigrants.
know.
Not only Cubans,
Yeah.
Venezuelans, Cuban. Look,
Yes.
when you come from Latin America, the same way how we Liberians love Minnesota. I don't know why, but we love Minnesota.
Everybody
But
else went to the hot places that they
okay,
originate
okay,
from. But for some
okay,
reason, we don't want came
yeah.
to the coast
But
area.
when folks come from Latin America, where they gravitate towards, okay,
Miami.
Miami, Florida,
So
okay,
colorful.
Miami, okay, that's where they go.
Welcome
Okay,
to Miami.
exactly. So it's heavily. Miami is an immigrant city. Same
Yeah.
way as New York is an immigrant city. Most of the well-run cities, or I shouldn't say wealthy cities in this country, are immigrant cities.
But to show you, I'm great you brought that up. It shows you what to prepare for 2026. Miami going Democrat. It shows you what to prepare. It's like people are rethinking the decisions that they made in 2024. Rightfully so, right? You have to think that is a large Latino population over there too.
It's a huge
And
Latino population there.
yeah,
Huge.
and
I mean,
so and we
it's a Latino city. As I said, when folks come from Latin America, the first place to go, Miami,
yeah,
okay, or
and
Florida.
so they're positioning to change, what they might be doing in 2026, the midterm, the 2026 midterm might be on trying to undo some of the harm they have caused with their votes in the 2024 elections. And so, a good thing you brought that up, the city of Miami. That's powerful. But that's the way, folks, that we can show up to support our immigrant community, is support these type of candidates being elected, right? Candidates who are, particularly interested in protecting our local economies, our small economic engines, our small businesses, our, that's sometimes that in itself is enough of the why to vote for somebody. Like what are the things that they care about, regardless of the party? For me,
I
some
was just
these
gonna bring
days,
that up, but now I'm glad you self-corrected yourself.
yeah,
Right? If you go and vote for
regardless of the
someone,
party
yeah,
these
yeah,
days, for me, it's about what is the candidate, what is their agenda? What are the things that they care about? What are the change that, the policy changes that they want to come and make? That's what I really pay attention to now moving forward. It's not about a Republican or a Democrat.
yeah. And so I mean, obviously, we have said, and that's the other thing too, right? Even immigrants, right? Don't just go vote. As a business owner, support your local candidates, right? Contribute, donate. And we have said it many times on this platform, like immigrants, we also need to run for our political offices in this
Yeah.
country, right? Because if some of us, were participating in, I mean, civically, maybe some of these negative narrative, is like kudos to elected officials, right, that are with immigrant backgrounds that are actually speaking out. It's like, hey, immigrants are not criminals because it's that we have been criminalized, right? It's like, but these are business owners, these are entrepreneurs, and these entrepreneurs, right? The one thing they want to do, want what America and capitalism teaches: invest, work hard, get rich, live the American dream. That's all these folks want to do, right? And nothing else. And as they are doing that now, they feel that they are under immense pressure, right? Intense pressure because they're not only like trying to navigate the day-to-day operation of their business, they have to deal with ICE, they have to deal with their employees, so many things. So that alone is killing the momentum. The whole idea of the American dream is killing that.
And the data is saying that's what these people have come and done. From Latino wealth growing in this country, the Latino wealth is growing, right? Latino businesses have been growing, right? To Asian businesses, to African immigrant coming here and being one of the most highly educated group of folks. African immigrants are the most highly educated people, group of people in this country, right? And so the data all shows that they were sold the narrative about the American dream, and they came willing to work and invest in achieving it. And the data shows that's what they have done.
Hmm.
All the data shows that from the time immigrants have entered this country, that has been the objective, to become good, outstanding citizens of this country, to be good members of society, to be law abiding, to be hardworking, right?
Hmm.
And tax paying members of this country. All of those things is what the data continues to show. None of it shows the narrative that continues to be the loudest. They're not showing that they're criminals. They're not showing that they're causing harm. It's not showing that they're taking our jobs, right? It's not showing those things that continue to be the narrative that unfortunately continues to be the loudest.
Yeah, I mean, it's like as I said before, right? All over this country, immigrants are the backbone, right? They are the economic engine of many cities: New York, Miami, Los Angeles, I mean, Orlando, Florida. I mean, you name it, Portland, Oregon,
Vegas.
you know, Houston, I mean, first of all,
Go
I
that
mean,
Vegas trip, you see who's working on Vegas trip. You see who's doing that work.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So immigrants, is like they are the engine and the economic drivers, of many of the large cities. As I said, maybe I think there's a disconnect between the federal policy and what's going on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, on the ground, I think there's a disconnect, and I think we kudos here to our platform. We have discussed this in many times. I think is even as immigrants, right? As we go out there, as we go about our daily lives, we should be amplifying these things, man. That this is having a human impact. Someone's getting arrested. I mean, like the other thing I hear, right? Even kids now,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, are
Oh
getting caught
yeah.
up in this thing.
Because why
You
would
know,
you go to elementary school? Why are you going to
the
schools?
kids are getting caught up in this
Yes.
thing. You say, okay, but what is going on here? It's like what is going on here? So I think it's about time maybe that we, no matter your political affiliation, no matter what political party you support, right? I think as an immigrant, forget about I mean, those that were born here as immigrants, you shouldn't just say that it's not, that is not me, that's not part of me. Because the other thing, there are 24 million naturalized Americans in this country.
You're not
The other
safe.
thing, the administration, the policy the Justice Department put out, they are going to prioritize denaturalization.
Yep.
Okay. So imagine that, right? You are immigrant business owner, I mean, you're a citizen, you're a naturalized citizen. And then maybe, something happened down the line, and then like the administration is going to come after you to try to denaturalize you. Just the effect of the impact of that. So this thing is not about, we shouldn't just sit here and try to be, quiet anymore. I think we all need
No.
to start saying, hey, but I
Oh,
thought,
now y'all ready to march? Now y'all
you
ready
know,
to rally?
no, no, to me, it's not about, it's that,
Yeah.
I, we can raise our voices in many ways. Whether those that want to peacefully protest, those that want to call their Congress people, those that want to amplify on their platforms, their various platforms, we should all, any means we can do to say, man, but okay, this doesn't seem right. Doesn't
So
make
I want people
sense.
to be mindful of how they're leaving and traveling. I would advise nobody to travel. Don't do any international travel because customs is another place that's doing major harm. Where families, somebody was telling me that family members coming back, the whole family was not allowed to re-enter, including the American-born babies. They were being held and detained for a long period of time, right? For waiting for them to figure out God knows what when these people had their passports, but they were coming back. They were entering the country back from India.
Okay, and were they
And
were they eventually allowing it or something? I'm
the
sure.
conversation just kind of went from one to the other. So I'm not sure what
I'm
it
sure they
is.
were. I'm sure they
I'm
were.
not sure what it
American
is, but
citizens have been caught up. I've been caught up in there, but in most instances, what I've heard so far, whether you're naturalized or or a U.S. born
green card
American,
holder,
you are being allowed back in, right? The will it's scary when someone detain you for no reason other than maybe your skin color or your accent. It creates that fear. It's okay, what am I doing wrong here, and things like that. It creates that fear. So obviously, but and then the sad part about it, right? Immigration lawyers are in short supply. So that's the other aspect. If you don't have a lawyer to call them and say, hey, what are you doing with my client? What's going on? I need my client released. That's another scary part about the whole thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even trust the fact that if you have your green card is being renewed and you're waiting for the new card, I wouldn't even trust the fact that you have just a paper. I would be cautious, right? I would say, you know, don't risk it. If you don't have to travel, don't risk it, folks. Like, wait till you get all your necessary documents in your hand that you receive it. Because what I'm hearing is they're not renewing things. They're not granting people asylum. And so people who have asylum are voluntarily terminating themselves from their employment. Lawyers are advising them that, you don't want to risk you being able getting approved by continuing to work, knowing very well you're technically not authorized to work.
I mean, imagine, man. the kind of impact it's going to have, right? Someone with an asylum, right, have legal status to work and then have a work permit, have everything. Now, they are just because of fear of, getting caught up in this whole mess, right? They are voluntarily giving up their employment.
Yeah,
Scary stuff,
yeah,
man. Scary
yeah.
stuff.
Because some people are due for renewal. And if it does get renewed instead of the 5 years, and if you've gotten the 5 year renewal, they're saying that no, I think effective
I
December
thought green
5th.
card. I thought green card is 10 years.
No, so the asylum seekers, they went to renew their work permits and it was
Okay.
renewed for 5 years. So that 5 year renewal is being voided or revoked, whatever way you want to say, because I think effective December 5th, everybody now has 18 months.
Oh, if you are asylum seeker to renew your
Yes,
work permit,
it's
you
been
have
reduced.
18 months.
It's been reduced to 18 months. And it could be other TPS work permits as well.
Okay,
And
okay.
so that's why we're trying to get a lawyer to do an open house, like a good information session. But what I'm advising people now is go to the USCIS website and they have the most up to date. You will see the new fee that
Hmm.
they put in place for asylum seekers, the $100 administration fee. And they said they'll notify you and let you know when you need to pay that fee. But they don't
Yeah.
say what the fee is. They just have yeah. So fees are changing, renewal, what's being renewed, what's not being renewed. I just encourage folks to, we're not trying to say we're lawyers in any mean, disclaimer.
Hmm.
We're not immigration lawyer, we're not immigration experts. So we just, as news is coming to us, we're getting stuff from the community or pulling stuff from online, or media. That's how we're sharing it to you. So I would say the best place, the resource to go is just go directly to the immigration website. It is being immediately updated with all the new changes to everything.
Yeah, and the other thing to note, right? To even get in touch of, first you used to have, these immigration free clinics. Those are being overwhelmed.
Yep.
Is that you cannot even to find those resources is, they are getting bombarded, it's been overwhelmed. We here, Cycle Podcast as well, trying to get a lawyer on here, but man, as we have told you before, to find someone they have been overwhelmed. They have been overwhelmed, right? Because they are folks are seeking their services left and right. And so, as Miss B said, so at this point, we all have to, do
Do our part.
self-service. No, self-service, basically
Yep.
self-service.
Yep.
Go to USCIS, find out the latest information. If you want to travel internationally, find out the latest information, what's going on. The State Department, there are a lot of, the administrations like, they like to flood the zone, right? So when it comes to the immigration thing, they are definitely flooding the zone from every angle. So it is important that everyone do their due diligence, find out what's going on, find out the latest information. Don't say that it's not about me, that's not going to impact me as a small business owner, as a consumer, as a citizen, as an immigrant. This thing, as you hear about it every day, it is kind of impacting every one of us, because no one know what's going to happen tomorrow. No one know what's going to happen the next day. As I said, a lot of businesses, entrepreneurs are working them every day to uncertainty, right? To uncertainty. They don't know if it, like, am I going to make enough money today, right? Are my employees going to come in? There's some food, the dragon, all of every, store, every business owner in this country. I get it. I've been affected. So it's something we shouldn't sit on the sidelines, right? There's not only affecting businesses that are going to be going out of business, because if this continue, right, these businesses are going to be folded. Their dreams, will be will will disappear. So it's something that we all need to kind of rally around and do something about it.
Yeah. I mean, if you come to their website, it's just immediately it says that U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services establishes a new center to strengthen immigration screening and target bad actors. I mean, just the language, you can tell whose language that is to target bad actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
it's a
Folks,
lot.
tonight it's our business segment. Everyone's will coming at you business and finance. As you all know, man, we live in crazy times right now when it comes to immigration, right? So The topic tonight is immigrant businesses and ICE surviving the race, right? ICE agents are going to local businesses everywhere in this country. Right now, it's actively happening here in Minneapolis, in the Twin Cities, going to these businesses, raiding people left and right. It is impacting, these businesses and things like that. I mean, I think Ms. B mentioned here yesterday, the Somalian Mall is
The Kamal Mall
it's
was
a
shut
ghost,
down.
it's a ghost town.
Yes,
It's
Friday.
shut down or it's a
Well,
ghost
folks
town.
have been told not to show up to their shops to open up their shops because
Hmm.
they fear of ICE raids. And so I'm sure the owner probably has the mall open just in case whoever decides to show up to open shop. But it's I think since Friday, it's been a ghost town as
Wow.
patrons have showed up there. Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot
Yeah.
of the businesses, even outside of the mall, that whole area is a lot of Somali businesses. Today they were in the Cedar Riverside area. That's a large Somali
Yeah.
businesses and
Mhm.
apartment complexes occupied by Somali families. It's just, yeah. The
So
Latino businesses, same thing, and now our West African businesses in the northwest suburbs, and so Minneapolis, St. Paul. Yeah, tip my hat out to the mayors of Minneapolis and St. Paul who've been doing a good job around being in solidarity with their immigrant community. Brooklyn Center police chief was at a community meeting on Sunday, and they did a press release as well on Friday in solidarity with their immigrant community. So we appreciate
what
that.
can what can immigrant business or immigrant entrepreneurs do like in these? I mean, what are they supposed to do? I know you talk about, if ICE agents appear, they have the legal right to, refuse any search or refuse entry because a private business is a if a it, I mean it's a private property. But in terms of the economic impact, in terms of the effect, what can they do? You know what I
I
mean? At
mean,
the
if I'm a
still,
restaurant, you can
uh,
close your business for dine in, and you can do carry out, right? So that's a way to protect your employees. And that way you're still servicing your customers, right? And if customers are trying to be supportive of this business, you're going to be doing your carry out, right? To continue to allow that business to have some kind of operations happening. Know your rights, be educated about your rights as a business owner. Again, what do you let ICE into a private entity where they have access to? That's up to you, right? And so you have rights as a business, right? Even community organizations, places that the public are going to be at. You have rights of who can enter your facility and how they have access to your facility. So I would say the best thing our businesses can do to try and stay afloat is figure out how to do business differently and do business smart and be educated about your rights if you want to continue to remain open and still be operating.
I mean, I would say this right. I'm not, I'm not a huge proponent of free money or anything like that. But I hear the city of Minneapolis where was said it, the city council was voting to put like certain amount aside. I think either for immigrants or immigrant businesses or something like that. Is there like anything happening at the state level? I heard the city of Minneapolis is trying to do something like that, right? To help, maybe impacted immigrant businesses.
Yes, they are trying to do that. And so I don't know about the state right now because we all know our state is being scrutinized about resources, and these
Yeah,
are the
because
folks.
yeah, people can't steal $1 billion from us. So
Oh my goodness.
that's a whole nother different story. We're
So,
gonna have we're gonna have
but
a new
who's
we're gonna have a segment on that $1 billion because I want to know how did you guys manage to get $1 billion out of the state of Minnesota?
I didn't get $1 billion out of this. How did the state of Minnesota allow $1 billion to land in the wrong organizations? That's what
Okay,
we're gonna say. It
okay.
landed in the wrong organization because there are still a lot of organizations that are still standing and doing phenomenal work with less money, right? And so now is the time for us to really be able to champion our businesses and support our businesses. And so I applaud the Minneapolis, taking the charge and taking the lead. on saying, how can we be intentional to make sure our businesses are here? They know who drives the economy in their city. So that's why they're being intentional and being smart about it. When
Mhm.
you have a model right now of providing mixed use spaces where a lot of those new apartment complexes have at the bottom floor commercial space, and who's occupying those commercial spaces? These mom and pop shops, these
Mhm.
small businesses.
Mhm.
Especially the city has done this whole initiative around bringing Main Street businesses back to Minneapolis, right? And so I can just naturally say they're protecting their investment
Okay.
um, by providing more resources.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I mean, yeah, that's one of the things where, because as a small business owner, as you are losing sales, as you are losing revenue, where's the help gonna come from? Now that you're asking for build out, obviously now, right? Because I mean, some of the policies of the administration is so upside down, right? Like there's tariffs. Now they are trying to build out. They are sending $12 billion to farmers to build them out, and the farmers are saying, instead of you building out, just end the
Use
damn
the
tariffs.
policy.
Just just any damn tariffs, right? Let us be able to free, trade to wherever we want to sell our soybeans, our corn, right? We should be able to do that, right? So sometimes it doesn't make sense, right? It's like, okay, the administration is saying they have this huge amount of money from tariffs, but what the tariffs is doing is affecting farmers. Same
Yeah.
thing with this. I mean, not only farmers, right? Every one of us, right? Because prices are high, as you all know. Have you ever been to the grocery store, man? It's crazy. If you ever gone to buy anything these
three
days, it's
hundred dollars
crazy.
of groceries, and I think we only got maybe about 6 bags.
Yeah, that's
Three
it,
hundred
man.
dollars.
Yeah, you be wondering, okay, what is in this card? And I'm looking like, damn, is that it? Yeah, but that's the current environment we live in. So the
Yeah.
same thing, right? I brought that up to say the same thing with immigration. You have this immigration policy that is affecting businesses, it's affecting individuals. So are these small businesses going to get bailed out? I know the federal government is not going to bail them out because they don't know what's going on this ground, on the ground. They don't know what's going on
So your
locally,
folks,
but
your folks don't know about the locals.
no, I don't think they know.
They
They
don't
know
know
about
about these local
they
streets.
know about the farmers because the farmers have started. The farmers are saying,
Farmers
man,
organized. So
yeah,
we got
hey,
to get organized.
change,
These
change.
small
Yeah, hey,
businesses get
hey,
organized.
I've said it many times here, right? Immigrant businesses, instead of you everybody going silos, maybe like form an association and then have that lobbying power. Someone is going to listen. That's what the farmers are. They have that lobbying power. They have the association. They are telling the administration, you need to do something because other than that, most of us are going to go bankrupt.
Yep.
So same thing here, right? Because of the immigration crackdown, most immigrant businesses could be going bankrupt, could be going out of business.
And when I think about the African grocery stores, the Asian grocery stores, it's not just about the employees, it's the consumers. Who
Hmm.
shops there? The same immigrants shop there,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
The same African immigrants are going to go to these African immigrant grocery stores. They're going to go to these Asian grocery stores. They're going to go to the Latino grocery store. So it's like, if I'm an immigrant and I don't want to get in trouble, I'm not going to go to a place where I know they go look for immigrants.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
that's what happened. Yeah.
it works both ways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's what
you're
happened.
not only are you worrying about your employers, you can always also be concerned about your consumers,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
are the ones that patronize our African immigrant businesses because we're African immigrants. And
Hmm.
so it's a double-edged sword. It's like on both ends.
Yeah. There was a Latino guy in New Orleans that was saying, once they hear that, there were extra ass agents coming, right, the entire Latino neighborhood, all those businesses went dark, right? And the guys were saying, man, it's crazy, right? Like he opened out one day, now one customer show up.
What made him open anyways?
Well, he's probably like, he feels like, he's a citizen, he's naturalizes, he got his papers, he's not afraid of anyone, but no one show up, right?
No.
Yeah, no, no one show is wondering.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I want people to recognize a couple things here too, because sometimes when things are happening, the picture that's being painted is not about one subject. So again, when we talk about BIPOC businesses here, our immigrant businesses, right, and understanding your target market, right, this is how you don't understand your target market. So if you're only thinking about this on the aspect of your employees and not thinking about your consumers, then shows you who you don't know who your target market is. If you're an African immigrant business, African immigrants are more likely the people who are shopping at your space. Those are your consumers. If you're Asian owned business, they're more likely they're Asians. Same thing with the Latino community. And so this is why it's important to be protective of your community as a whole, right?
Especially as a business owner.
Yes.
Especially as a business owner.
Yes. And so the audacity that we don't have chambers, our chambers are not lobbying for sanctuary cities. Our chambers are not lobbying for our police to be aligned with our immigrant community and not aligned with ICE. You as a business owner, then you don't care about your business because your bottom line depends on your consumers being able to come and shop from you too. Right. Mm-hmm. And so we need to be proactive as business owners to be protective of the communities that we are working, that we are in, that we're located in the communities that we're serving. Because when they are being harmed, we are being harmed as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. Well, folks, it's a 1 hour show, man. It's been a great show, great information. Ms. B has provided some great information. Very nice about self-service, right? Because you cannot get a lawyer. You go on ICE website, just go get information from there, right? That you don't have free resources anymore. But this is a 1 hour show. We've been providing some great information, providing some insights, encouragement, and things like that. But Ms. B, as we try to wrap this thing up, what is the message you want to leave for folks tonight?
Businesses, you have to learn how to do business a little different. You have to pivot right now. Be smart about it. Like I said, if you can figure out a way to do carry out, to serve your customer that product or that service without having to have your doors open, figure that out, because you want to protect your employees and you want to be protective of your consumers as well, right? How are we if you didn't do DoorDash before, maybe you should start learning how to do DoorDash now or set that up. What is it, Grubhub? Try and set up all those things. Those things will help to keep you in business. So let's learn how to do business differently. Be safe out there, folks, and let's protect one another.
I would like to end by, I don't think we should give in to fear, right? It's easy because that's what is happening. I think that's what it is all about, trying to give into fear, right? And as a business owner, I don't think you should give into fear either. I know these are scary times. And also as a community, I think that is more than ever, we should support our local businesses, right? Our immigrant businesses, support them because they are going through some hard times. It's just what it is, right? If things continue the way they are, some of these businesses will definitely go on. They'll go bankrupt. Yeah. And so let us support them, whatever, instead of going buy something, if you can find it at your local African store, go there, man, patronize them, right? We should not give in to fear. As a community, we should come together. We need to, project that force, right? That togetherness, that unity. And I would encourage every platform, right? Every immigrant platform. I think we should, I know some of you guys be on your gossip stuff, but even when you do that stuff, man, just throw in something about, provide some information about what is going on in the community because your listeners, your audience might not be around if
long. I heard that is another component to getting qualified to enter. Like immigration will be reviewing people's social medias.
Yeah, for the last 6 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like their mission is doing a lot of things, right? Yeah, but as I said, that's what they campaign on. They're trying to rewire, change the entire immigration system, whether it's for good or for bad, who knows, right? It's like that's what they're trying to do. Right? They're trying to reimagine the entire immigration system. It's not the old days anymore. But folks, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are not trying to create fear here. We're just trying to provide information and insight. It's real. It's what's going on. We are not trying to create, panic or fear or anything. But as I said, right, do not give in to fear. Be hopeful. As my man Peterson said, this is the year of hope. But also, the word of the year is clickbait or whatever it is, right? So it's like, anyway, we'll see you guys back here tomorrow, same time, 7:30. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night, folks.
In a circle podcast where hearts unite, sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home with laughter.